I think for the women, we just don't want to feel like we're your personal masturbation center.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Today, I've got Angie joining us.
Hello.
Angie came in hot today. She had to drop off her kids from school. A little bit of traffic out there.
Oh, my.
We're not used to recording this early in the morning because I have a guest from overseas. Actually, she is my first guest from the other side of the pond. And we would like to welcome Melissa. I think it's about 8 hours difference where you're at, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so you're finishing your day, and we're just waking up here on the west side.
The west side.
Yeah. All right, so I got a letter from you. I'm going to go ahead and read that. What it says is, "Hi, I've been binge listening to your show since discovering it a few weeks ago. I am in love with your approach to the whole topic and host and co-host. I'd love to be on your show. I am a 30-year-old sugar baby from Europe who has been in the bowl on and off for 6 years. I have surged in Berlin, Amsterdam, and New York, but have now moved back to my home country where I live in a city of under 1 million. Since my city is so tiny..."
Is that tiny?
That is not tiny. I grew up in a town of like 5,000. So, since my city is so tiny, there are not a lot of people who accumulated wealth here. So I mostly date international businessmen who fly in for business. If you want me on the show, I'd love to talk about the differences between sugaring in the States and Europe. I dated an East Coast broker for a year, which I know Amy hates, so we will have loads to talk about. Lately, I have mostly dated a few different nationalities, including Indian and American, Northern European, and Middle Eastern men. I know that the last two is not a nationality, but I don't want to give personal details away that can give me or my lovely guys away. As my profession, I am a full-time artist. I also have another job I go to 1 to 2 times a week, so I have a small base salary every month. Since selling art and sugaring incomes fluctuate a lot. I have a loving, normal partner of 2 years, and we are polyamorous. He thinks I am cool for doing what I do. By the way, I'm dyslexic, so my written English is not the best, but my spoken English is good, and have a mix of broad Northern European accent mixed with British English from school and American English from consuming America media." So after reading that, I had to have our guest, Melissa, tell her story on the other side of the pond. First of all, how did you come across our podcast?
So I listen to a lot of podcasts when I work, and I was just looking for something new. And I don't have a lot of friends in real life that I can talk to about the lifestyle. So I was just looking for podcasts about it. And I think you have, Sugar Daddy in the title. So you're one of the first that came up.
Yeah. Yeah, it does come up when you type in pretty much anything sugar.
Do we?
Yeah. We're getting up on the search engine pretty high. And you said you binge listened, so you've listened to all of them? Because I've got quite a few out.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we appreciate that. I think you just said you listened to them again just recently, kind of get caught up.
Oh, I just caught up and made sure that I didn't skip any of them.
Yeah. Well, we try to make each one unique, but they do kind of follow our lives and my co-host lives, and we kind of just detail how it's going in the sugar dating world. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how you kind of got involved and why you're here today?
Yeah, so as the letter said, I'm a full-time artist, and I also have a part-time job that I keep. And I got into this while studying, as I think most people do. And I was, again, living in a small town, even smaller than the one I live in now. And there's just no one there. So I had to go to the nearest capital, and there's also no one there that I really liked. So for the fun of it, I just expanded my search to New York. I'm a huge jazz fan, so I just would like to see if I could maybe go there and like see some artists that I've been listening to in real life. And that's how I started. Like the very first person that I met, I had a 1-year relationship with and flew over a bunch of times to meet and hang out with and see some lovely concerts.
All right. So when you set up a profile, then you set it up in the States, or how did you do that? Or did you set it up in your local area and then you just kind of reached out? Or, I mean, how did you meet these guys?
Yeah, so I set it up in my local area and reached out. Just was going over the globe with my little search box and just like changing the location.
Now, I get a lot of messages from women overseas, but a lot of times I think they're fake messages. So did you get a little pushback there? Or
No, I don't think so.
They think you were a genuine person looking for an overseas gentleman.
Yeah, it wasn't on purpose. Like I didn't plan it. It was 2 days after that we started writing that he bought me tickets.
Really?
And I think, the first day we started talking together, we were on the phone for 6 hours.
Did
so
you
I think,
do a video call or you were just on the phone?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
he
did a
could
video
see that
call.
you were real and you're very, very attractive. Here we've got you on video through Zoom.
Thank you.
So I could see where a gentleman would kind of be a little enamored. So he bought you tickets to New York City?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about that.
It was, as I said, it went so fast and I almost didn't think about it before I was in the plane. I had like a tiny panic attack.
Yeah.
Not too bad, I mean, but just like thinking about what am I actually doing. But my two best friends knew I was going there and they've seen pictures and all of like the stuff I had about him. And yeah, it was super weird meeting him in real life because we talked so much together. And I think it was my first time meeting anyone online and putting so much effort into it. So we were both super nervous. But I had a good time there. It was really fun.
It must be really interesting for you because where we're at, we're able to do like just a normal meet and greet, get to know the person a little bit, before we make decisions. Whereas you actually have to travel and put a lot of trust in these people before you're meeting them. You're traveling internationally. So like, that would be so intimidating for me. Was it initially, or does it still get intimidating for you?
I don't travel internationally anymore, simply because I don't have time. My art is very physical and I need to go to my workshop in order to work. But yeah, back then it was very intimidating. I had butterflies in my stomach for like the first day. And yeah, but he was really like such a gentleman and like really kind and kept checking in and just made sure that I was doing well.
Now, did you meet him on Seeking?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What year did you sign up for that? How long ago was that?
When I was 23, I signed up.
Okay, so about 7 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what are we going with?
You're not supposed to give away her age.
Well, I think she put it in her. She put it in her letter to me. I just read it on the podcast. That relationship lasted about a year. You said.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of difficult, right, to do an overseas type relationship?
I think with us, we communicated really well over text and voice message.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just have an easy time doing that, and luckily that was both us. But I went to see him, I think, every month.
Wow.
That's a lot of travel for you.
It was.
Did you enjoy it, though? I mean,
I
because
did.
it was great, right? You got to come to the States and you got to see New York, which you said you had really wanted to do and get to have those experiences.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
So now most of the people that you see come to where you live currently, and that's where or do you still travel a bit like within your area?
I actually don't travel at all. It's something that I've just said I don't do for now. Things are really picking up with what I do and I just can't leave for that long. But I was talking to Marcus before you arrived and there's only 50 active, I was counting, there's only 50 active profiles here in my city. So if I wanted to date someone or to have a broader selection than 50 people, it's just businessmen that fly in. And luckily there are quite a bit of those. A lot of them have regular business here, so I get to see them. It varies a lot. Some I see every other week, some I see every month. 2 I've only seen once, but I know they're coming back soon. So that's what I do now.
And you said that you have a normal partner in life and that he really supports you and, in this, and that he's really proud of you. So what's that
Yeah.
like?
Yeah, that's
It's-
curious for me too. I want to know how that whole relationship works.
Yeah, so I think it wouldn't work unless we were super polyamorous. We were when we met each other, and we've never, like, all our problems are about other things, like normal couple things. It's never about polyamory. That's just one of the things that are easy for us to agree about. So it works pretty well. He thinks I'm a badass, and
I love
kind
that.
of he likes it. Like, he has a little sushi addiction that I can feed. So that's nice.
So how did you meet him?
On Tinder.
Oh, you did the swiping side. So they have Tinder over on the other side of the pond. I knew that, but
You love that phrase.
no, I just don't know how. I don't know how popular the dating apps are over in different parts of the country or different parts of the world. Sorry. Have you tried traditional dating?
In my life?
Well, I mean, let's say since you kind of become of age, like in your 20s, and
Oh, so non-online dating.
you know what's funny is we consider swiping apps traditional dating now.
Yes, we do. But I think what Marcus means is because you got into the sugar life really young.
Oh.
Like, how did you incorporate traditional dating in with the sugar dating?
I feel like I've never told most people everything, but I often tell people that I see other people. I never disclose like information about my partners to each other unless they both want to. It's something where you ask both people first. You want to like, can I talk about you to this other partner I have? And it's just, most people know that I see other people, and that's just how I do it.
Yeah. So your first experience was the gentleman from New York that you flew to go see, and you said you were
Yeah.
with him for a whole year.
Yeah.
So that must have been a really good way to kind of get you comfortable then
Really.
with the lifestyle.
Yeah, it was. Mhm.
Because my first was a very long-term relationship in that way, and it really helped me explore that lifestyle like in an open way. So it was really encouraging for me. I didn't go in like some girls go in. They have these horrific experiences in the beginning, and whereas you and I, we were really lucky because we had these really great, genuine, experiences.
Yeah. Oddly enough, the very first girl that I met on the site, we ended up getting into a 1.5 year relationship arrangement. And even though it had its challenges, it was a good experience for me. I was very lucky that I guess, because I did date while we were together, because she had some health problems and she wasn't always available. And she actually encouraged me to, you're on the site and you can continue. Like, I can't fulfill a lot of the needs of where, the places you want to go and events you want to see, because she had some back issues and she had kids. I met a lot of really crazy people in the meantime.
Right.
That was just, maybe if I would have met them first, it might have turned me off of the whole experience. But fortunately, the first person I met, it was a really good experience. So
It definitely helps.
yeah, definitely helps. Are you active on the site now? You have your profile active?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. So do you get a lot of messages from men who just happen to like all of a sudden search the town that you're in because they're traveling there? Or do you still reach out and kind of peruse other areas of the country or the region?
I don't reach out anymore.
No.
I really just prefer people who go here, and from them I receive messages. I would say I'm not actively like looking, but I do have it up there. And I think I get maybe, as I said, it's quiet here. I think I get like 3 messages a week, maybe.
3 or 4 messages a week. Okay. And so how do you set up a typical date with somebody that's flying in? How does that go?
So a lot of the time they would have work during the day because that's why they're here. So oftentimes it's dinner or drinks. I love to sell in the city. Like, I have a lot of history about the city and like architectural history, so I can go for a walk and like can just tell
Kind of
them
be their little
some
tour
funny-
guide?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
that's
actually
normally what I
enjoy that.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That part I would really enjoy. That would be a very attractive for me to maybe go overseas and then find somebody on the site and just have them show me around, be my tour guide. That's a little
That would
better
be
than
fun. Yeah.
hiring professional tour guide, you have a sugar baby tour guide.
With benefits.
Maybe with benefits, yeah.
With some fun benefits.
Yeah. That would be a really cool angle, actually.
Maybe I should put that up on my profile.
Yeah, you might want to
definitely
include
should.
that. Yeah. Not only, but
Contact a few travel agents.
yeah.
Enlist as a tour guide.
Mm-hmm.
How does now, like when it comes to international sugar dating, because that's something we really don't have a lot of experience in, right? How does it work with allowances and things of that? Do you do more monthly?
She's probably more on just a per visit.
The per visit?
Yeah, I would say that's mainly what I do. Some guys like to agree before they arrive here and like a certain price given that we click and we like each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because they know a lot of them are like away from their wives for a week. So they want to know that something is going to happen once they get here. So I think,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think they just want to find out if we're on the same page, because otherwise they would start talking to someone else. But I think I have a good profile. I attract really nice people. I've also gotten better at like spotting who would be annoying or kind of not my type. So I do click with most of them. There's only one guy where I said sorry, like I'm gonna go home after an hour, and I was really sorry for him because he was only here for a short time, but I just knew that he really wanted something and I didn't.
What made him so annoying that you just couldn't take it anymore?
So first of all, he was super late. He texted me like 10 minutes before. Yeah. And he texted me 10 minutes before that he was going to be late. And I said, okay, yeah, it's fine. If you're just 20 minutes late, I can just wait. So I wait, and he doesn't even open his message before 45 minutes after we're supposed to meet.
Oh my goodness.
And he shows up a little bit drunk. And I mean, it's okay to have like one glass of wine or something before you go anywhere, but he was just talking away and being like obnoxious drunk. And I just knew that even if he was sober, I wouldn't want to meet him the day after.
Mm-hmm.
Now you said that you counted the number of men on the site in your area, and it was about 50. What about sugar babies? Are there many other women, do you know, in your area that are doing this, or?
I don't know anyone. I've tried to reach out different places online, but I'm the only one that I know of here. I have other sugar baby friends in like a group chat, but that's international. And I had one sugar daddy who I have a really close relationship with. I asked him to look yesterday how many sugar babies there are in the area. And he said it was like under 100. He didn't count if they were active or not, just looked into it. So there's not a lot.
Yeah. So your area is kind of low down on the sugar dating. It's interesting.
Yeah, that would make it a little challenging, I think.
Yeah, because to me, a city of 1 million doesn't sound small.
No, and you would think there would be plenty. So I'm really curious about your current relationship. Do you tell him about your adventures? Is that something that he really likes to hear about, or what? How's this work? Does he help you get dressed? I mean, does he drop you off?
No, I pretty much. So he dates as well. But he just goes on Tinder and finds people there. So we, of course, talk about each other's dates, but still with respect for the person that we met up with. Mm-hmm. Of course, if it's someone that like treats us bad or is completely obnoxious, then we might tell each other more and like have a little less respect for the other person's private life just because they treated us badly.
Oh yeah.
But most of the time I don't say much. Like I would kind of say just the vibe that I'm getting from them, like maybe where they're coming from, how old they are or something like that. If we did anything fun, or the other day we went to a bar with some of our friends and I walked past a spa where one of my sugar daddies took me and I was like, we need to go there. And he was like, why? I really like it. It was so amazing. And the friends we were walking with are like, when did you go to a spa? It's like, okay, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what to say.
So you guys have more of like a don't ask, don't tell kind of policy, like in a sense, like you're aware of what each other are doing, but you just don't share a lot of the details.
We don't share any personal details, but we actually do share almost everything. I just don't give anything away about people, and like if they tell me something very personal about themselves or some struggles that they have and so on, I would never share it. I feel like it's very disrespectful to do that. So
Yeah.
in that capacity, we don't share.
That's admirable. I like that.
Well, one thing the women do complain about when they meet somebody in person is that they don't quite look like their photos. Have you encountered that a lot?
So I photograph really bad, and I'm often told that I look better in real life.
Oh,
than
you're
my
one of
photos.
those. Those are a rare breed, but every now and then we'll run into people that look better in person than they do on their photos, which congratulations. It's
Thank
actually a
you.
good thing.
And what
No
about the
worries.
men that you meet? The men that you meet, do you tend to find that they look like they present themselves in their profiles?
It varies so much. I couldn't even give you a standard answer. Like some of them look very much like their photos, and some of them don't. I've never had anyone like catfish me.
Yeah, well, men are
Um,
definitely finding the filter features on their phones as much as women now.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot.
I
There's
refuse.
a lot of filtering, or men like to put pictures up that are 10 years old. I've found that's the thing with the men. They're posting all of their pictures from 10 years ago when like they were super active and playing football and sports, and
Yeah.
like they're not living that life any
Well,
longer.
my photos now are 2 years old, and it's just because I don't take a lot of photos. I just haven't updated them in a while, so I probably need to do it.
But I've known you for 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
just about,
Yeah.
and you still look the same.
Okay. Well,
So that's
good.
okay.
That's a good thing. But we are aging, so I probably should get some
New photos.
Yeah, I got a birthday
You'll
coming
have to
up.
have Amy and I do a photo shoot for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That'll be fun. Yeah, it's really interesting because the men are starting to look different as well. Like I see that more and more.
All right, so how do European men treat you versus American men?
Oh, good question.
So I have not dated many European men, only a few, who I feel like there's the biggest cultural difference between. Like if I should name two groups, it would be between like Middle Eastern men and American men. That's just where I feel. So it also comes down to the different people, like how they are as a person. But and I hate to say this because you probably have so many American listeners, but if an American man, gives me something like an item or dinner or any kind like money, they kind of assumes a little more of an ownership over me or my time, or
Interesting.
they want something back, and it's really obvious in the way they act. But also with Indian guys, but for them it's a part of the relationship, and they don't change around the time of the gift, or like they have fewer problems addressing it. Like it's not like they're better at talking about it, they're still hella awkward like I am, but it's a much easier conversation, and it's much more natural. It's a part of a natural relationship, I feel like, for them. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot more
I
easy
have
and pleasant.
I have a couple of people that I've seen very long term that are Middle Eastern, and I feel like for them the giving gifts or allowances, like it's almost just part of their culture to take care of a woman in that way and to be kind and to be thoughtful and to be considerate in those ways. It's not with such a sense of I'm giving this to you and you owe me something back. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree.
Yeah, we have a lot of Middle Eastern men here in our area. I know Amy's dated a few. You have. Do you find it a big difference?
They're so kind and considerate in my experience. They really want to listen to you and get to know you. And it's really, in my experience with them, it's much more about the relationship but they're really good at also giving you your space and not like bugging you throughout your normal life. But when you're with them, you're the complete center of their attention. And they treat you like a princess. Like you feel so spoiled, like just as a person.
Nice.
I completely
Yeah,
agree.
it's really wonderful. There's not that rush of like, let's just get to business. Like it's not as businessy.
Not at all.
All right, Melissa. So how do you talk numbers with these men?
I normally never bring it up, actually. I want them to bring it up. It's kind of my philosophy that it would destroy. A lot of them feel like it's get very transactional,
Right.
and I just want them to bring it up when they feel like they want to. And if they're like a nice gentleman, which I hope I date all of the time, they will bring it up because they know it's a part of the relationship. Some of them I never talk to it about. They just give me things at different times, and sometimes they don't even want to talk about it. They just slide in some cash, or they ask me what size I'm wearing and like clothes or something. Yeah, there's been times where I didn't feel like it was maybe like
Enough.
To your
Very
expectations.
much.
Yeah. Right.
yeah, but then I would just take it and then kind of just address it before the next time in a nice way, where I would just maybe ask them a little bit of like why and what are the reasons behind and what do they think they want from this relationship. And just, I don't know, it's so depending on the situation, but just trying to speak about it very nicely and not let them feel like I'm pushing them and they still have a choice. And even if we don't agree, we can still be friends. Because I think, I also didn't tell you this at all yet, but I think having many partners and having these kind of relationships are very natural to who I am, at least now. I had some friends, 2 girlfriends that I was having dinner with the other day, and we got very drunk and we started talking about relationships and men, and they were like, why are you not a sugar baby? You're the perfect person for it. And I was like, oh my God.
So they were telling you why you earned a sugar baby, and you just are giggling inside going, oh, if you only knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
seem like you really
Then-
value your privacy, though. So that's something you don't share with any of your friends, or do you have anyone close to you besides your partner that you share your lifestyle with?
Only my partner and one of my friends know. And my friend, who is a guy, was the person, before I had my partner, I had to tell someone where I was going. So this was just my one male friend that I was telling where I was going.
Yeah, because
So
that's
someone knew where I
probably
were.
because that was probably really important to you in the beginning, especially because you were traveling outside of the country. You really needed like that safety net in case something happened, right?
Yeah. And this is someone I really trust. So yeah, he was the perfect one for it.
Well, I was curious if it has less stigma over in other countries than it does here, because I think we encounter the same thing here. A lot of girls don't like to admit that they're on the site or that they're sugar babies. And it sounds
Yeah.
like it's very common over there too, to kind of have the same stigma.
Yeah, I think there is a prejudice that it's like kind of materialistic, empty girls who do it, and that they don't enjoy it.
That were just
And
gold
I-
diggers, like after the men's money and things. And it's really not about that and Amy has said that, multiple times
Well,
as well.
we have a whole podcast about that. That it is a lot more than
so much more.
Yeah.
More. Yeah. But
than the
definitely a
stigma,
stigma.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are some things that you really like about it? And then what are some things that you aren't so fond of being a sugar baby?
I don't think there's anything that I am not fond of.
Really? You like it all?
Yeah. Only maybe sometimes if people send you a first message, which is a copy and paste, and it's really just like-
Marcus,
Sometimes we copy and paste. Sorry, it happens.
I'm on him about that all the time.
You never know if this profile is real or fake. And then a lot of times you just don't want to put a lot of time into fake profiles. And so you just kind of got to
Which I
power
understand.
through.
The problem is we know when it's a copy and paste.
Well, I know. It is pretty obvious.
Insert name here.
Hey, I only have so much time in my day.
I respect that.
Can't be like sending personal messages
Yeah.
to every single one. Now, I don't go message 50 people, but
I mean, you're making it sound that way. A
no,
little
but
bit.
I mean, when I click on when I'm looking at the girls in our area and I see somebody that I like, well, or actually what I'll do is I'll open a new tab and I'll just open about 10 or 15 that attract my eye. And then when I kind of look at their profile, some of them I eliminate immediately and I just exit out of. Some of them don't have enough pictures. And here's another thing that we talk about all the time is requesting pictures and not saying a message. A lot of times they only have one picture and it's kind of vague. It's hard to tell. So I'll request to even see if I want to send a message.
Okay. That That's fair. But
Like I need to see more to see if I want to put in my time.
I don't. Yeah.
But you girls get so upset when guys ask for your privates without a message.
You
I
might-
mean,
you might
so
wanna
you
rephrase
guys
that.
absolutely true. The private photos. But you guys get so upset. I see so many profiles say, if you request my private photos without a message,
I
I'm
say that.
blocking you immediately.
I don't say I'm going to block you. I'm just
or
like,
you'll get no response.
I'm just like, be a gentleman, say hello first. Like it takes 1 second to type hello,
Yeah. So Melissa, I can see you're dying over here. What are your thoughts on this? Because obviously you've encountered it.
Yeah, I read their profile, and if it's completely weird, I don't respond. But if it's someone I could be interested in, I would just ask them. Like most of the time, it's people from outside of the city, so I'll just ask them, like, "Are you coming to the city anytime soon? Like, are you planning to travel?" And then they would answer something, and then I just kind of have the conversation going from there, and I can kind of get a feel for who they are. I don't show my pictures to people unless I know I'm gonna probably meet up with them, or there's a big chance that I'm gonna meet up with them. Let's say it like that. It's just not. I'm just not showing them because then I could show them to like 10 guys a day.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't, but you know what I mean.
Right.
I agree with that.
All right. So what's the solution here? What is a good common ground that we can find to help the women and the men understand this process of private photos?
I think for the women, we just don't want to feel like we're your personal masturbation center. I mean, I'm being honest though. Like we just don't want to feel like a bunch of men are just like going through. Because look, if I was a man, I could join SA and hit request photos, and just like look at hot pics of girls all day and have no intention of actually meeting that person.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like I want at least a little bit of intent that you're actually interested in me before I show you all these pictures of who I am, especially, because it's private and I see people from this area. So I don't want my pictures just floating around amongst all the locals, so to speak.
All the locals.
But I'm seriously though, because I could be at a restaurant and I'm sure sometimes I'm the girl at the restaurant that someone across the restaurant is like, oh, I know who that girl is.
Ooh, I've gotten recognized. Melissa, has that ever happened to you? You feel like you got recognized? No.
Never.
Oh man, I've had
benefits of being in a smaller city, seeing people who come in from out of the country though, right?
But when I go to Texas, my family lives in a small town, and there's actually about 6 or 10 girls on the site, and it's a town of like 25,000 people, right? So this one told me that she worked at this restaurant in town, and there's not very many restaurants in that town. So anyway, so I could go in there and just creep on her and see who she was before we ever even met. I thought about doing that actually. Because it's such a small town, and it'd be really easy to run into people. Yeah. That like that. So.
And you don't know who's screenshotting your photos or saving your photos, so there's a little bit of privacy and safety issues there too. This is a good question. Do you use your real phone number, or do you use? Because I use a fake phone number.
You talking to me or me?
Both of you. You.
Melissa.
Do you use your real?
We can't get Google Voice here, so I just use different apps where you can find each other with username. Oh, I have to tell you a story. It's so good.
Do tell.
So I'm chatting to a guy from let's say Southern Europe right now, and I ask him what his username on Telegram is. So I add him with the username, and his number appears as well, and the name of the profile and a profile picture. And it is the logo of his law company, the phone number of his law company.
Oh, boy.
And I looked them up. They're legit. He is under employee list. And he's texting me about stuff he's doing right now for work, which is some serious stuff. I don't know why he shared all of this with me. But he's texting me this sensitive stuff from his work number. And all I can think is that, how can you be this digitally illiterate when you're a lawyer? You need to be safe.
Wow.
It's insane. Yeah.
When I first started doing SA, I was using my regular phone number. I was so naive, and it's attached to my business. And so I had a few people message me and they were like, hey, when I messaged you or when I called you,
Oh.
it showed up as this. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh. And
I
then
do remember that when you gave me your number, it came up as your business.
Yeah. And so I quickly realized like
Yeah.
if I was using my real phone number, number one, now it's all linked through social media. So I would start showing up in people's like potential friend list and this and
Yep.
that. And like, it just made me so findable. And I was like, that's not safe. So listen up, girls. Don't use your real phone number. If you're just getting into this, make sure you use a texting app or a
Yep.
WhatsApp or use a something.
What do you guys use over on that side of the pond?
On this side of the pond, we use I use Telegram mostly, and Signal for.
Yes.
I mean, that's mostly younger guys that have that. It's too small, I think, still. And then I had one person used Snapchat, but I don't like it personally.
I don't like Snapchat. Do you Snapchat?
No, but I've had girls tell me that a lot of guys, they'll message them on Snapchat and they prefer that. But
I really like Signal. I find that most like heavy hitter businessmen, men who are really into business, you like Signal. It's pretty popular amongst
I'm not familiar with that one.
It's great. It is super encrypted.
Okay.
So your messages don't stay on a server. They go from person to person and that's it. And then they are self-deleting as well if you choose for it to be. So they disappear.
Okay.
And then there's no trace left behind. So they're not stored anywhere.
All right. So it's kind of a combination between WhatsApp and Snapchat, kind of.
Yeah.
Got a lot of those features.
Yeah.
All right.
It's super private.
What's some advice you have for somebody that's thinking about getting into this lifestyle, Melissa? What are some
Make
things that
sure-
you've learned over these years?
Yeah, definitely make sure that you are mentally stable. It sounds harsh to say it, but whenever I've been going through things mentally and also sugaring, but only meeting new people, it has always made it worse. Because you put yourself out there and you're trying to be there for someone else and make them have a good time. And then if you're kind of not doing so well, you can forget yourself so fast. And I feel like that's what happens for me, at least.
We did a whole episode on the mental health aspect of it, and I think we actually should do a lot more in-depth view of it and maybe kind of give some good advice and tips on how to deal with that part, because it can be mentally taxing. Don't you find that dealing with all kinds of different personalities, that they bring so many different issues to the table, and for you to have to deal with, all this, you've got to be pretty mentally strong.
Or even on our last podcast, Amy and I touched on, part of it too is sometimes as women, we start to feel overly sexualized in a objective way or objectified way, I guess. And you have to be able to process that sometimes as well.
That's actually super interesting. So I have two answers to that.
Okay.
So I don't find it taxing meeting many different people. I actually love that. That's why one of the reasons why my friends think I would be perfect as a sugar baby. I can just talk every day. I hang out with people so effortlessly, especially in smaller groups, and I'm almost never alone anyways. And with being over-sexualized, I feel like in my normal life, my normal vanilla life, I hate it. If I'm with a male employee when I was at work and I can feel that he's doing it, I hate it more than anything else. But with sugaring, I know it's a part of the package, and I kind of, that men are not subtle about it on seeking. Like if they like you, they will tell you in so many ways, and they'll be so happy, and it's very different from being like a colleague sneaking a peek down your cleavage. It's like I don't know, it's more like a compliment or like a testament of not love, but some kind of, for me, I really love it. And I think as women, so by society, we're told that when we're sexy, we're worth something. And that's like some internalized sexism that I have to work with, but I really actually enjoy being sexually objectified in a nice way, of course, but it's something that works for me. So yeah.
It feels like flattery.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for us?
No, but I guess I have things I can talk about.
Yeah.
that we didn't talk about yet.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time on Reddit, and I was reading there that someone was trying to sugar date, but through Tinder. And I wanted to just try and do that because there's not many on Seeking on my site, in my area on the site. And I met up with someone from Tinder who was, he had his job description there. I could kind of just see that he was making a lot of money and kind of older and just so chatty and sweet. Yeah, that's because I kind of also saw this as a chance to tell my friends about it, because when I was drunk with them and they told me that I should be a sugar baby, they went on my Tinder, turn up the age, and they started scrolling when they were drunk. And he was one of the people that I matched with that night. And I was like, okay, if it works out with this guy, I feel like I can tell my friends about it because it's kind of their fault. So
Right. There you go.
yeah. So I meet up with him and conversation is amazing. Like, it's a long time ago since I had such a good conversation with someone so fast. But there's a lot of other things about him that just made me sure that he was not looking for a sugar relationship. And he also quit the job that he had in his Tinder bio and was now doing volunteer work in like organized sports, I guess you can say. And I'm not a big sports fan, so it didn't work out in the end. I didn't end up seeing him, but I'm really interested in hearing if anyone has experiences with finding people outside of Seeking, like on Tinder or in real life or anything.
Well, what happened to me was I actually matched with somebody on one of those, I think it was a Facebook dating site. But anyway, I did see her on the others. Do you guys have Bumble and Match.com over there?
Bumble, yes. Match.com.
No.
No.
No, okay. So anyway, I matched with her, but then she found my profile on Seeking. So I was like, damn it, because I
Thought you were going to get a freebie.
I thought I might get one for free. No, but I don't mind helping somebody financially. But when she found my profile on Seeking, then she's like, "Oh, hey, are you going to treat me good?" You know, or I can't remember what she said, but she definitely made a reference to being a sugar baby, and I was like, "Oh God."
It was never going to be just a normal, average dating relationship after that, was it?
Yeah. No, it wasn't going to be after that.
I have a guy friend who is not on Seeking. He's not a sugar daddy, but he is on the dating apps. And he knows I'm very open about my sugar lifestyle. So he knows that I'm involved in that. And he was telling me that on Tinder, it's actually getting more and more prevalent for girls to just outright post, what they're looking for in a sugar dating type of way. So I think the people who maybe aren't aware Seeking exists, or if they don't want to pay the membership fee, whatever reason, it's becoming a lot more prevalent on the dating websites to find sugar relationships.
Well, and then one of Amy's complaints, and I think yours too, is that there are a lot of guys, they're coming from Tinder and those apps over and trying to see if they can grab a freebie on SA.
Especially these really young guys. Like you go on SA now and she's nodding her head, and you're like, okay, 23, 24, 21. And they'll like request photos. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, no. And that's what I mean when I say, like, I don't want my pictures just to be your masturbation pic for the day. No.
Melissa, are you finding you're getting messages from some younger men?
Yes, very much.
Is it an automatic no, or do you actually kind of give it some thought?
No, it's not an automatic no. Some of them I can kind of feel that they distance themselves a little bit from the site, and then I feel like I have enough. I still vanilla date as well, next to Seeking, so I have a pretty busy dating life.
Yes.
And I actually like kind of more like hippie, down to earth people. And there's not a lot of them on Seeking. So I use other apps for that. But yeah, I just say no. I have enough people to date.
Yeah. And not all. Yeah. I mean, I do want to clarify, like, not just because somebody is young on SA doesn't mean that they're automatically checked off the box, so to say. But I did have like one really young guy. We never actually met in person, but for whatever reason, we had great conversation, and he just went in and bought me all kinds of things off my wish list and had them sent to me. Like, because we were having these great conversations, and he was very legitimate, very kind. But so it's just, you have to read the profiles to really get a feel, I think, for what their motives are for being on there.
Well, we have come to the end of our time, unfortunately. Thanks, Melissa, from the other side of the globe.
You were brilliant, by the way. I really like your perspective on so many different aspects of the lifestyle. It was really great getting to talk to you.
Thank you, Angie.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me this early morning here.
You owe me a coffee.
I do. We'll get one after the show. Hey, guys, find us on Instagram. Message me there. I get your messages very quickly. And then, like Melissa, go to our website and message me your story there at secretsofasugardaddy.com, and maybe you'll even be on the show soon.
Yeah, I would love to have more international guests.
I actually have, just a teaser, I have a couple more international guests lined up.
Ooh.
So as for some reason are going globally now with this podcast.
We're going across the pond.
Yep, across the pond. All right. Thanks, Melissa. Until next episode. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.